Islamic eschatology identifies a physical man, a singular prisoner, who is alive today and biding his time in the dark. In the 7th century, a merchant crew drifted through a month-long storm before stumbling upon his prison, and they returned to the Prophet Muhammad to recount the details of their encounter. This single eyewitness account bridges the gap between ancient prophecy and historical reality. In the year 628 CE, Tamim al-Dari was a wealthy, literate Christian merchant living in Byzantine-ruled Palestine. He was a well-traveled trader of the Lakum tribe. That year, Tamim and a crew of 30 men embarked on what was supposed to be a routine maritime mission. Their journey was violently disrupted when a massive storm hit. For an agonizing month, the waves tossed them across the sea, severing them entirely from the known world. The chaos finally broke at sunset. Battered and exhausted, the crew spotted the shores of an uncharted island. They took to small rowing boats and pushed toward the beach, desperate for survival. They thought they had found safety. In reality, the crew had crossed off the map and stepped directly into an apocalyptic nightmare. As the sailors reached the shore, they were confronted by the island's guardian, a creature that identified itself as al-Jassasah. This was an entity so completely covered in dense hair that the men could not distinguish its face from its back. Terrified that the creature was a devil, the men recoiled, but it only offered a cryptic instruction: "Go to the monastery, for there is a man inside who is keen to know about you." The creature was merely a scout, pushing the terrified sailors toward an infinitely more dangerous presence. The crew entered the dark monastery and found the most massive human being they had ever seen. He was heavily bound in iron shackles. His hands were tied to his neck, and his legs were bound from the knees to the ankles with iron bands. The giant did not ask for rescue. Instead, he immediately began interrogating the sailors about the state of the world. He asked if the date palms of Baysan were still bearing fruit. When the crew said yes, he replied that they would soon be barren. Then he asked about Lake Tabariyyah, the Sea of Galilee. He heard there was still water in it, and warned that it would eventually dry up. By linking his emergence to the biological life of these palms and the falling water levels of the lake, the giant connected his release to concrete physical markers in the world. The giant's final question was about the prophet of the unlettered. The crew explained that this prophet had left Mecca and gained victory over the Arabs in Medina. At this, the giant revealed his true identity. He announced himself as the Masih al-Dajjal, the Antichrist. He promised that he would soon be permitted to break his chains and travel the earth in 40 nights, barred only by angels from entering Makkah and Medina. The crew fled the island, burdened with the knowledge that the apocalypse was a living man waiting for his hour. Tamim al-Dari eventually reached Medina, where he embraced Islam and narrated the events of his voyage. He met with Prophet Muhammad and recounted the details of the shipwreck and the chained man in the monastery. The Prophet called the community to the mosque. He sat on the pulpit and struck it with his staff, confirming to the believers that Tamim's account agreed with everything he had previously taught them. This story was treated as absolute, divinely corroborated intelligence regarding the enemy's location and status. The Prophet described the Dajjal as the greatest trial humanity will ever face. This diagram shows how the Dajjal operates through a total reversal of reality. He will present a river of fire that is actually cooling water, and a paradise that is actually hell. To defend against this deception, the Prophet instructed his followers to memorize the first and last 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf. Tamim al-Dari's encounter remains a chilling anchor for Muslims, proof that the unseen world is real, the prophecies are active, and humanity's